Beast here, and welcome back to Sprocket. Today I bring you the M21 Timberwolf. Now this is the A1 variant. I also have the regular, just M21 variant, which has a smaller, slightly less powerful gun, as well as HVSS suspension, as opposed to the torsion bar. That is literally the only difference between the two tanks. This one, though, I have ran through fields, and it can be a little tricky. Let me go over the tank, and I'll explain why. So this was supposed to be, originally I was trying to do the T20 for America. If you guys don't know what that tank is, it was actually designed to replace the M4 Sherman. The United States Army Ordnance Board thought it wasn't good enough to replace the Sherman tank, as the Sherman tank they felt was adequate, and they would have to shut down production for some Shermans in order to put the T20 into production. They didn't feel it needed replacement, and so on and so forth. But basically, they took the same engine, same suspension, and made a smaller, more compact, faster, more maneuver, just all-around better tank out of the same engine and suspension. And with a 76mm gun, which the U.S. Army wanted, because they knew the M4 Sherman 75 wasn't going to be adequate forever. By 1943, it was really already within a year starting to show its age, because the Sherman came into production in 42. And the thing is a lot of people don't realize the Sherman was actually a very adequate tank upon production. It was comparable to a Panzer III and a Panzer IV, and even a T-34. It had a 3-man turret, it had a stabilized gun, and the 75mm was effective in 1942 against whatever you were shooting at. Especially when you're looking at the deserts of Africa, where the biggest gun you're going to find out there was, at least for the Germans, would have been like a 50mm on an actual armored vehicle. I mean, they had the 88, but it was artillery, because it was actually an anti-aircraft artillery gun that they would point at tanks. And the Italians had their 90mm, but they only built 50 of those things? Well, I mean, on actual chassis. So the Sherman was actually a good tank, and even as the war went on and they upgraded it, they were still adequate for the opponents that they would regularly face, like Stugs and Panzer IVs, which, remember, the Panzer IV is actually numerically the most built tank by the Germans during World War II, which I think they built around 8,000 of them, and which is pretty damn good, honestly. Yeah, the United States built around 50,000 Shermans, but that was because we had production lines thousands of miles away that never got bombed. Under war, on a two-front war, the Germans still built 8,000 Panzer IVs. That's pretty impressive, honestly. So yeah, the Sherman ended up being a pretty good tank. However, this, or what this is based on, the T21, or I'm sorry, the T20 rather, I think would have been a good replacement, or at least supplement. But I understand why they did what they did. The Russians did the same thing. You notice the T-34 didn't come out of production until the end of the war. The T-44 didn't replace it. And in fact, the T-44 was built during the war, never saw combat. It was all stationed out in Siberia, because they weren't 100% on the vehicle, and they didn't build all that many. So if you would have put it out in the front, it wouldn't have had many parts. So I get why the U.S. didn't do it now. But I'm sure troops would have really appreciated a new tank on the front, especially when dealing with things like Panthers and Tiger 1s and Tiger 2s and so on and so forth. It's arguable how much better the T20 would have been, but I think it would have definitely made an impact. I digress. My favorite thing about this vehicle that I've done is its mobility, actually. First, it has the same Sherman engine, 600 horsepower, 8-cylinder. But since I worked on that racer the other day, I decided to make a simple transmission. 3 gears forward, 3 gears back. I get up to a maximum of 35 miles an hour, and it can do a maximum of 35 miles an hour backwards, which is pretty awesome. You have a good gun, but it's kind of a slow reload with what I consider adequate armor for what you are facing. So you have mobility to get in and out of trouble, with armor to survive it, and a gun to take on just about anything you're going to find. And it makes a good combination. Now, its armor, I say, is adequate because on angles, you definitely start to see weak spots, like where the 38 millimeter lower plate is. So let's take a look real quick. So you got 52 millimeter here, 100 millimeter strip, and then this is 76 on an angle. Up here you have a 75 millimeter plate with a 60 millimeter mantlet, 52 on the sides here, 20 on top. You got 50 millimeter here, 50 millimeter here, 38 on the lower plate, 20, and then 25 back here. I might even these up a little bit, but when you angle, you notice the 38 millimeter feels very thin at around 70 millimeter. Up here, you're looking closer to 100 millimeter, especially if you angle a little bit better. There you go. But the 38 millimeter, it's still a little on the weak side. You can still pop shots through. And same thing with this lower plate. But from straight on, this upper plate is not bad. Like I said, it's adequate, and as is the mantlet. And so when you're out on the field using this thing, the main issue is that you're getting shot at from all angles when you're playing the actual scenario fields, and they hit you so often that they will find a weak spot. And so luckily you have a good gun. However, I have a tendency to miss aim because the target reticle's way over here, and so I'll shoot and just that round goes right past them. It would have hit them if I moved it over just a little, and I keep forgetting to adjust. So yeah, let's take a look at the mobility here. You guys can get a feel for this. Ooh. Now the HBSS version, not as good. It's about 10 miles an hour slower. It doesn't cross trenches nearly as well. I think that's more of a game thing. It just the bogeys like to get stuck. But look at this, just right over. But if I want, I could just back it up, right back over. I can do this whole course backwards, and it's the same as if I'd done it forward. I can drive this down to the beach over there, and I can actually drive it back up without issue. So, as you see, this thing is quite mobile, which I really like. Now, the field scenario is late war, so the engine has a tendency to want to go to much higher RPMs. It wants to go over 30 miles an hour. And so the RPMs want to go over 3,000, and it starts to damage the engine. So once you start getting towards 35 miles an hour, you want to take your hand off the accelerator, just to give it a second, pump the brakes there. But it's kind of funny. The AI will actually begin to miss you if you're on the move. If you stay still, they're just ping, 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 constantly hitting you, even if they're moving. And but if you start moving, they will hit you occasionally, but it's like real life where you're less likely to run into it. And the nice thing is, you say you roll up on a hill, you take a pot shot, and they start shooting at you. You can quickly back away, relocate, and it has a tactical effectiveness. I really like that. So let's go ahead and pop in there and take a look. God damn it. Definitely immobilized. It's the only tank left. Let's try again. Can't move. Damn it. Really? That went over? Wonder if I could back up over to there. It just bothers me how much they can... The damn Panthers can hit you, or even the spitters, whatever the hell they're called. They can nail you. Well, on the move, and you're on the move. Like, come on. Stupid AI. Oh, that's right. It's got late war engine. So I gotta watch that speed. Oh, damn. I managed to flank this time. Yep, there's an a-hole right there. Oh, are you shitting me? I think he's dead. But, just in case... There we go. Just to make sure he is dead. More than dead. Doubly dead. Come on, little anger engine that could. Ooh, shot just whizzed by me. Dude! Yeah, I'm gonna load up one of those HE rounds, because if I can get a side shot on him with that, it'll insta-kill him. Oh, come on. That should have punched through. Oh, that did the trick. Yes! Woo! Got him. All right, so what did you guys think? I mean, this thing will get punched out quite often. I mean, even at the end of that, I was the last tank alive. Literally on either side, the last tank alive. I've played so many rounds of this thing on this particular scenario, and it's hit and miss. I mean, sometimes they just bloop, they nail you. And I think it has to do with the lower side plates. But it's rare that it happens, but it does happen. And it's mostly just because the frequency of fire of them surrounding you. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this vehicle. And if you have any ideas for anything for me to design in the future, please let me know in the comments down below. If you guys like the episode, please hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next time.